You always want to have at least one video asset that does two things: sells people on who you are and sells people on your unique way of viewing things. There needs to be 3 yeses that people have in order to make a sale. They need to be a yes to you, a yes to your unique way of doing things, and a yes to your program. The belief I had to shift for people is that oftentimes the thing that holds most coaches back is not a lead volume issue, it's a lead nurture issue. You actually get more credibility when you can leverage other people's status and other people's credibility and then talk about how that relates to your unique mechanism. People don't just buy into what you do, they buy into who you are. Unapologetic authenticity. Build connection. So give me a Marnie update. What's been going on in your life? What's been going on in business?
So what's going on is I created the cash campaign. I created the emails. I set it up. I've been doing the Facebook posts. I've got a lot of, and I've been messaging people like a motherfucker, and I don't have chat silo or any of those things. So it's just like lists and scrolling and stuff like that. So it's a lot. My questions are though, well, a couple things, but one is, for better or worse, one of the emails in my campaign is like, do you want this video? So I got like a bazillion people literally in my inbox saying, I love the video. So I'm not quite sure what to do with them. And when I did the video on Facebook, I had a lot of people who were like, yes, send it to me. But I have not yet been able to translate that into any sort of like, sales appointment. How should I handle this with all these email requests for the video in a way that can turn them into possible appointments?
Yeah, so I can share a script with you that you might have seen. It was maybe 2 days ago in the sales challenge. It was some reach out scripts. So the easiest way to think about this is direct and indirect.
Yep.
Right. So whenever I'm messaging someone, do we have the relationship, the rapport to be direct and move towards an offer really quickly to get on a call? Or is it indirect? We've got to go through connection, rapport, build some common ground to move towards an offer conversation around jumping on a call. And so, for example, like when you do an email and it says like, are you looking to get clients? Are you looking to, XYZ, whatever it might be, in a direct way around your offer and your calendar? It's much easier to segue into like let's jump on a call and I can walk you through it. Right. Indirect is starting a conversation. And so firstly, email is a harder place to have those conversations. Yeah, it's possible. You can absolutely do it. But firstly, what I would be thinking about is, can I find these people elsewhere? Can I find them in a medium that's going to be easier for me to connect with them back and forth, like ping pong, as opposed to really long form emails, right? So you've sent the training. They've said, this is amazing. Thank you so much. You're the hero of the day. Fantastic. Then from there, it's like, well, how do we move them towards a call? And so if we just take the email route, for example, right, you can basically, send back an email and you can go direct, right? Again, I would prefer to take them off email if you can, but let's say you do an email and it's just like, I'm so glad to hear that. I've got a lot of good feedback on the training. That's amazing to hear. Even though the training is valuable, it's probably not the silver bullet you're looking for in terms of getting more freedom, making more money, kind of whatever the result is. If it'd be helpful, I can get you some info on the new community I'm launching that would help you design, and then maybe link to the topic of the video or just what they're interested in, help you design this area of your life, this area of your business to get dream outcome. Let me know. I've got some time over the next few days. I can walk you through it. Right. And you can see the framing of that is so not in your face, right? It's not intense. It's really relational. And then from there, again, that's assuming you're just doing it in email. So you're trying to do it in basically 1 or 2 emails. You're laying it out in the first email. The second email is then sending a link or suggesting some times, which by the way, that time hack that I mentioned is so killer. When you're moving people towards a call, you can send them a calendar link, but when you send people a calendar link, what you're doing is you're assigning them a to-do. Yeah. When you frame it like, I'm free this time, or this time, which works best for you? It's such a simple yes or no question. They're either free or they're not. And then you give them enough times over a couple of days where it's almost inevitable they will have some time free. And that becomes so much easier. So for example, if they say like, I'm free at this time, you go, great. You add in their email to that, and then you just send them over some training in between now and the call. But I found that people's call booking rate goes way up when they ask the question of when are you free and then suggest times versus just sending a calendar link. Okay. And then the alternative to this is you do the same strategy, but you do it in Messenger. So you message someone and you say, hey, just got your email. So glad to hear it was helpful, by the way. And then you follow that kind of framework, moving them through Messenger. But obviously the beauty of Messenger is it's more back and forth, faster response from them and from you.
Yeah. Okay. So I can just try and pop their email into Facebook or something and see if it comes up with who they are. Is that how it works?
Yeah, you could. I think I'm trying to think of. I haven't done that in a while. I mean, in an ideal world, you would be able to, because most of them would have first name and last name attached to their email.
Some of them probably do. I can look.
Yeah, but again, you don't have to move them away from email. It's just if it's easy enough and you can, fantastic, do that. If not, no worries.
Okay. Okay. And then, so what I'm going to do then too, for those people in Messenger that already sent the video, now I can send them like, hope you like the video, even though it's super valuable, probably not the silver bullet, blah, blah, blah. I can help people and see if people want to get on a call.
Yeah. And obviously you've got the beauty of having the launch working for you because you're about to open something new.
Yeah.
And then the framing is I can get you more info. And then the way that you get the more info is obviously through a call.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Right now I don't have anything. I made a little video about like on Zoom that was like, I'm so excited, that you want to chat. It's really great. Like I didn't even know what I was saying. I need to redo it. But is there anything else that I can do in between, send them in between or get them ready for the call? Do you think the sales call?
So like I have that micro webinar training that I send people in between the call. But if you don't have something like that, find your next best equivalent. Like what's a great piece of content that if they were to consume it, they would understand two things. Number one, more of you as the human being, your story.
Yeah.
You want that video that you send before a call to build know, like, and trust. So if we just kind of zoom out for a second, you always want to have at least one video asset that does two things: sells people on who you are and sells people on your unique way of viewing things. So the mistake a lot of people make is they think before a call, I need to get people to buy into my offer. But that's the job of the call. The call's job is to sell the offer. The pre-call's job is to get people on the same page as you.
Yeah.
Right. So they should there needs to be 3 yeses that people have in order to make a sale. They need to be a yes to you, a yes to your unique way of doing things, and a yes to your program. Pre-call, we're trying to get them to be a yes to you and a yes to your unique way of doing things. So an example would be when we sold basically our Facebook system, we called it the automated group funnel. We could not sell to people on a call if they were still not convinced if a Facebook group was right for them.
Right.
So the call was not there to educate them on why Facebook groups are awesome. The call was not there to talk about the benefits of Facebook groups. Our marketing had to do that for us. Our marketing had to do the work of selling the mechanism. The job of the call was then to go, you're sold on Facebook groups. You think Dan is probably your guy, but now let's look at the details of the offer to see if this is actually the right fit, the right time, the right deliverables, the right support, the right pricing. And so for you, again, you might not have that one video yet. So the goal would be over the next 30 days to create what we call that micro webinar, but to at least send something that kind of helps people understand your story, who you are, why you're passionate about what you do, and your unique mechanism, kind of the old way versus the new way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it makes perfect sense. So if I were thinking, I've been really trying to figure out what my mechanism is, and I have a lot of things. Some of them are like, I think too esoteric. How can I nail that down? When it was dating, I called it like reveal, release, rejuvenate. And I started it with, you have to, and I still could do it this way. I was thinking about that today in the shower, that I could still do it with like the key to figuring out why you haven't done anything or why you're stuck, why you're not making more money and you don't have more freedom is the unconscious 10%. I wonder if I could almost take the stuff I did in my dating webinar around that mechanism and apply it to this, because that worked. That worked really well. It was like, the thing is, like, there's this part of your brain and it's stuck, and blah 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 blah, and nobody can tell you this, like your friends can't, you can't see it, and once you figure it out, then everything changes and you can start working on the thing that is really the problem.
100%.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how you think about this is firstly, like, what are the big beliefs you need to shift? So before you go, like, for example, Facebook group, the goal was not just, there are lots of ways to get clients, you should use a Facebook group, it's really cool. goal. The goal was for us to introduce a different way of getting clients. And so the old way, I would talk about how people would build funnels where leads either buy or die, right?
Yeah.
So I would talk about like, oh, there's this old way of getting clients, and you run an ad and you get people to a webinar, and some people watch it and some people don't. And of the people who watch it, some people book and some people don't. And of the people who book, some people show and some people don't. And of the people who show, some people buy and some people don't. And the way most people are getting clients is just spending more money on the webinar. And so you've got all of these people that are disappearing from your world because leads are either buying or dying, right?
Yeah.
So lead generation was the focus. Lead nurture was nowhere to be seen. The belief I had to shift for people is that oftentimes the thing that holds most coaches back is not a lead volume issue. It's a lead nurture issue. You don't need more leads. You need to be doing a better job with the leads that you have. So this is the big picture belief that I had to show people the magic of why what we're doing was working so well. And it wasn't just because it was a magic Facebook group. It was because we were approaching client acquisition differently. So when we hit our biggest month ever, when we hit 347,000 cash collected in a month, we only spent 29,000 on ads. Now, only spent 29,000 is a lot of money, but for our competitors, they were often spending a third or up to half of their cash collected on ads because they were just focused on lead generation and direct response rather than lead nurture and brand building. So I share all of that to say that's an example of a belief that then I would share that would then lead towards why Facebook groups are the best way to do it. So when you think about your unique mechanism, it's not just coming in hot and saying like, I have the XYZ method and this is awesome and it's better than everything else. It's helping people shift their beliefs on why this is important in the first place. What Russell Brunson talks about, the old way and the new way. And this is where you can borrow credibility. So rather than you thinking you implying you've stumbled across this unique method that no one else has ever talked about in the history of mankind, you can borrow credibility, right? So Tony Robbins says success is 80% psychology, 20% strategy. What I've done there is I've borrowed credibility by mentioning his name, and now I can talk about the concept because he has so much weight that I'm now borrowing someone else's credibility. So it's not just my word against theirs, it's now their word against mine and Tony Robbins.
Right. Which you do with that Hormozy dude all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like
Hormozy, Sam Ovens, Russell Brunson, different people like that. Yeah. And so when you bring someone else into that, or a concept or a story or a statistic or a quote, you're actually helping people understand more of where you're coming from.
Yeah, I got it.
Because what you don't want people to think is this crazy new idea that Marnie's come up with and no one's ever really talked about it. You actually get more credibility when you can leverage other people's status and other people's credibility and then talk about how that relates to your unique mechanism.
Okay, this is cool. What I'm thinking of doing is that when I did do this webinar that I had, that it was from Clients on Demand, which worked to an extent for 5 years, but it was like there were it was like the 5 steps my clients blah blah blah. But anyway, there were like 5 beliefs we had to shift. Yep. So one was like you have to tame the gremlin, or you have whatever it was. So I'm wondering if I just go to not completely reinvent the wheel, go look at that format. I just have to make it shorter because that was like 40 minutes or something. So, but I have to just come up with 5 beliefs. There's a whole section on there that's the old way and the new way, and see if I can put something together.
And that's the best case scenario if you have capacity. If you don't, then just find 1 or 2 videos that you think would be helpful in lieu of the fact that you don't have something like that.
Yeah, because I don't know. I know you're like, right away, I would do this right away.
Yeah, of course. But like, keep in mind, like, so I've got the micro webinar right now, and I think that's helpful. Like it's got 500 views in 6 days of this micro webinar.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's been really helpful, but I didn't have it for the previous 50 clients. Right. So I just had key trainings that I was sending over, my 7-figure content strategy, my plan to hit $1 million in profit. So like there were just a couple of videos that I was like bringing together that might be like 30-minute total watch time that I would then send over. So in lieu of the micro webinar, before you get that shot and set up, you can just find some of your best stuff to send over that you think is better than nothing.
Okay. I just have to pull all this new stuff together. That's my challenge.
And that is a challenge. Like one of the things that's really key with all of this is just being able to stay focused on what's most important at any given time. Like what's your bottleneck? So right now you've got lots of leads, which is great. And you just want to figure out like, how do you nurture them better? And you already have stuff that has been nurturing people. So yes, it's a priority to create the micro webinar. No, it's not a priority to create it today if you don't have capacity. One of the beautiful things that will happen is as you put it together, it will force you to get clear on certain ideas.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite quotes is thoughts untangle themselves passing through the lips and through fingertips.
Yeah.
So it's that idea of like you're forced to create, which means you'll get clearer on the ideas, and the clearer you get on the ideas, the easier it becomes to sell. But you don't get clear just by thinking about them. You often get clear by talking them out and writing them out.
Yeah, for sure. That's how my brain works anyway.
Yeah. So have you checked out my micro webinar?
I did. I watched it. I'm in it.
Cool. Perfect. So you kind of get a sense of like what it could look like. Now yours doesn't have to have slides. It doesn't have to be the same type of thing, but you can see what I'm trying to do. The offer piece is 30 seconds at the end. The big piece I'm trying to get people to buy into is my story and my unique way of seeing things.
Yeah, no, you broke it down really good. It was really, really great. I will put that on the list, but in the meantime, I need to nurture and book these leads that, that we created here last week. And then hopefully get them on my calendar and create some impact, because that'd be really cool. And the other thing that's been really great is I've been so hesitant in my own mind to be like, I help people make money. But I was coaching with one of my clients today, and she was like, I'm having the best month I ever had. And I just raised my prices, and,
amazing.
and I'm like, I helped her make money. Right. So
you did.
So yeah, so it's cool. I know like all this opportunity is coming around. I'm just trying really hard to stay focused on just doing the next thing, like you said, which is nurturing these leads. And
nurturing is so key. And one of the key things that you brought up earlier at the start of the call that I'll just loop back to is like, you do want to create a system and leverage software if you can to manage leads. Just find like the easiest like software that you can use to do that. I really like the two I like is Chat Silo and Unipro. So Chat Silo is much more, it's only focused on Messenger CRM, but simply having a CRM where you can tag people as like hot, warm, cold, like message, conversation started, all that is killer. Unipro does that. And it also like actually you can set it up to add people on Facebook or send messenger broadcasts. Like it has a lot more functionality, and the price reflects that. I think the Chat Silo is, I'm kind of guessing from my last look at it, I think it was like $40 a month. Unipro is $200 a month, but Unipro has way more features. So either way, look at both of those softwares and see what makes the most sense. But I would say like, I really love the scrappy type of keeping track of leads in the beginning, right? Like I remember when we first had a closer and he closed 5 deals in 5 days, I was like blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be rich. This is unreal. And I'll never forget. I was like, what's your system, dude? And he's like, really simple. And he just pulled up his iPad and he just had on his iPad names written down on his hot list. And he's just like, every day I'm just connecting with these people, moving them forward. So that can work, but at scale that breaks because you have so many messenger conversations going on. So that's where I think a software of some kind can be really, really invaluable to kind of help you stay ordered and stay less stressed so you can focus on the right things.
Okay. I think I'm going to get that because I think now I'm at that point. I do have my list, but I keep
with all your
rewriting
bazillion
it.
leads, probably a good idea.
Yeah. And I'm moving them around. And now some on a spreadsheet, and it's like a little great. So yeah, so that's happening. And then my VA's last day is tomorrow. So I got 2 people training that I hired yesterday.
Congratulations.
So
that's amazing.
Cool. Yeah, so that's cool. And I actually paid my old COO to help me do the hiring. I paid her like $500 to like interview all them and like come up with just like, I have no bandwidth.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that was helpful. It was worth $500. So, okay. Well, I think I'm going to come up with these messages and then send them out and then see what I can, and then look at my content to really figure out what could I send out that would be really helpful in lieu of this webinar.
Yeah. And one of the things I would kind of encourage you as we're wrapping up is to think about is when it comes to generating leads, or even if we zoom out, when it comes to getting clients, it's helpful to know right now, am I facing a lead generation issue or a lead nurture issue? Like, is it that I don't have enough people in my audience, or is it that I don't have a high enough warmth with those people in the audience? Yeah. And it sounds to me like you have a really good growing audience right now and you have a lot of leads. And so that's where I'd just be focusing more time on content, right? Written, video, short form, long form, to continue to build that audience and build that trust. Because I think one of the mistakes people fall into is they think, if I could just get more leads, I will get more clients. But oftentimes people have more than enough leads. They're just not handling the leads they have very well. And so I was talking to one of my team members the other day, my content guy, and we were talking about the difference between Twitter followers and Facebook followers and things like that, and how the quality is so different. And one of the things that I found so encouraging about the business model that I've had for a few years is that I've made so much money from so few people. Like I have such a small audience compared to many other people that do the same as me or multiples of me. Like it's not uncommon to have people who have a $200,000 a month business and 2 million followers.
Right.
For me, I'm like, I think my followers total across different platforms, I'm assuming many of the same people follow me on different platforms. I probably have 6,000 or 7,000 people that follow me.
Right.
And so to have made $7 million from 7,000 people is wild. But I've done that through prioritizing lead efficiency and lead nurture over just generating more leads over and over and over again. And so I think for you, it's just making sure that you're framing it the right way and going, right now, does Marnie need to do way more stuff to generate leads? Or is it that I just need to be following up better? Do I need to be being more efficient with the leads I have and dialing in my setting scripts and tracking leads better through our software and a CRM? And I think when you look at that, it's not like it's black and white always, and you go, oh, I don't need any more leads forever. But there are seasons where lead efficiency and lead nurture becomes the focus, which actually takes a lot of pressure off, because then you can focus your energy in the right direction.
No, that's really helpful. I mean, when I had my dating with dignity business, I mean, and the truth is I had like 20,000 leads or 25,000 people on my list, but my active list was like 7,000 people, and I was making, almost $2 million a year. I just stopped basically nurturing them. I think that's why I have so much people responding to me, right? Because I'm sending them something that they're finally like, oh,
Yeah, this sounds great.
This is real. This is real. It's not like just some like, here's the podcast, here's the this, here's the that. All right. Well, I'm going to put together a thing with some good, like a blog and a video and a podcast or something like that. And then I'm going to send that out to these people. And then I'm going to investigate next week getting Chat Silo and getting all these people on there so I can get rid of my paper.
Perfect. I think that'll bring a lot of peace of mind, because you just open up your desktop and all of a sudden it's all there and it's really, really straightforward.
Yeah. Oh my God. Be so much better. Okay. And then I'm gonna write this follow-up thing with the video and get that going tonight too. Okay.
That's amazing. Let me know if you have any other questions, but you're on
Thanks,
the right path.
You're the best.
You're doing amazing. Have an incredible day.
Right,
Talk soon.
You too. Bye.
Bye.